We are here from the Youth Engagement Center where we work with youth in our programming. We've listened to the youth, your peers, and this is going to be a live performance that we're about to do with words and feelings from the mouths of your peers and friends. The topic is bullying, which is a big issue for those who are getting bullied and for those people who are bullied, because there's so much going on in their lives that we do not see or understand. This live performance will speak to the feelings of both sides. After you see the performance, then we'll kind of discuss it. So, Miss Mary, if you can get the lights.
Left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night, touch the sound of silence, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops fell, echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowing to the neon god they made. Inside flashed out his warning, and the words that it was forming. In the signs and the words on the prophets are ringing on the subway walls, tenement halls, whispered in the sound of silence.
So we did this live performance today to convey the message and story of a bully and those getting bullied. To look at someone who is bullying, you do not not know the whole story of what is going on in their lives. There may be no food at home. There might be yelling and screaming, unstable living environments, and or mental health issues, or more. It's not saying that reacting out to others makes it right, but it's letting you know that we hear you and we understand. You don't have to be hurting alone, and you can come to the light, speak to someone, and help find ways to take out your pain and frustrations in a healthier way.
So the latter part of the performance speaks to how the victim of the bully feels. They feel anxious to go to school, scared of what the bully may do to them. They feel depression because they've been beaten down rather than uplifted. They want to be themselves, but they are not being accepted for that. They have eating disorders and low self-esteem because they've been made fun of for their weight and appearances. Bullying hurts and affects the lives of others drastically. We need to come together and see both sides. We need to have compassion. We need to lend a heart, an ear, and a hand. We need to uplift instead of put down. So we have a couple of students here, one that spent 3 years here at SIS and now has moved on to Three Oaks, and he wants to come and talk to you and tell his story. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Declan Rockwell.
Hello. I'm Declan. Let's just move this here. Okay. I'm Declan. I went to SIS. I'm currently at Three Oaks right now. And I had wonderful memories here. I loved SIS. It was amazing. And you're just going in here, and these are going to be the best 3 years of your life. Let me just tell you that right now. But right now, I'm going to talk about bullying. For those of you who do not know, I am originally from Florida, in the U.S. I was raised in a family where I quickly realized that my life was not going to be easy. My father was struggling from an alcohol addiction since he was 12 years old, and my brother has been diagnosed with autism. And when I was 7, me and my dad and my mom divorced, and we moved to Canada, and she stayed here in Florida because she didn't want to come with us. So I went to Greenfield Elementary School for grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I made a lot of friends there. And then when I came here, I made some friends from Parkside, and Elm Street, and Athena. And when I told them that, I told them my story, and I thought that they were going to be happy about that, and they were going to be there for me. Turns out I was dead wrong. When grade 8 rolled around, I remember science class, and it was in October, and this is where it kind of began. It was out of the blue. I hear one of my friends say, "Hey, did you have to help your brother get dressed today because he's so autistic? Or how many times did your dad beat you before you went out the door to school today?" And that hurt a lot because I thought they were my best friends, and I thought they were going to be my friends for the rest of my life. So throughout the year, it was a very large group of people bullying me, and bullying me, and bullying me. And that kind of took away the amazing feeling of me being in a wonderful school like this. So I talked to your guidance counselor, who you can talk to anytime you want, 5 days a week when she's here. Make an appointment if you're feeling down. And I talked to her. I didn't tell her the full extent of what was going on. I didn't tell her the times in gym class when they would throw basketballs at me, or I didn't tell them. I didn't tell her a lot of stuff. So I told her that there was just a group of people that were bullying me. And it was very, I wanted to keep it short because I didn't want anything else to happen. Because I would constantly look over my shoulder when I was walking home from school, because I was afraid that someone was gonna, like, you know, come out and hit me out of the blue. So, as it got worse, I went to Mr. Doyle, and suspensions were laid out. And for 4 days, I felt like a normal kid at Somerset Intermediate. Someone who didn't have to be tormented with his bullying. So when I got back, and they got back, I thought it was going to stop. It's over, thank God. Once again, I was dead wrong, because I was walking home from school, and they all jumped me. They all came out of nowhere and kicked the living snot out of me. And people have asked me, why didn't you go to the police, Declan? Because I was afraid they were going to kill me. I didn't know what was going to happen after. I didn't know what they were going to end up doing. So what I ended up doing was going to the Youth Engagement Center. Because of the Boys and Girls Club, before the Youth Engagement Center was built, usually it was for little kids, and I went up to grade 6, and then I stopped going to the club. I started volunteering there. But I couldn't talk to my dad. Nicholas wouldn't understand, my younger brother. So I went to the Youth Engagement Center, where I met Jason Glenn. And Jason is like family to me, and the Youth Engagement Center is like family to me. Without them, I don't know where I would be right now. I learned how to play music. I learned everything. Jason helps me through numerous things. Like, I get so many opportunities that I never got. Like, for an example, hockey was always an expensive thing, and I couldn't afford it. Now I'm playing that. And if I didn't face my problems to the head of that, I wouldn't have been with Jason. I wouldn't have been with the people at the Boys and Girls Club who are working there now. And my dad wouldn't have gotten a job there. So it still happens, the bullying. Not as much, but it still happens. But and in a positive note here, that when you're growing up and you go through these hallways, you are representing a wonderful school. And I can tell that looking into each one of your eyes, you've all been bullied before. People have bullied you. And you have bullied others. And it's not a good feeling to get bullied, is it? It's not. So, you can talk to someone, because that's what I did. You deal with it your own way, but this school has amazing opportunities, so take them. And don't let anyone else drag you down. I'm going to hand the mic over to Jason. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Declan, for telling your story. Yeah, the truth is, Deck, that you showing up at the Youth Engagement Center has been our blessing, because you're a great fella, and yeah, he was an awesome drummer when he showed up, and he said to me one day, he says, I think I want to learn how to play guitar. And I said, okay, cool, I'll show you a couple of chords. Well, if anybody knows how musically inclined Declan is, it took him about a week to surpass me, and he never looked back since. So thank you, Declan, for sharing your story with us today. So we have another student that's currently in your school right now. She's a grade 8 student. She showed up at the Youth Engagement Center a couple of years now, that we've got the pleasure to spending a lot of great time with. And she'd like to talk about her story today and to tell you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Paige Waffit.
Hey, so seeing some familiar faces from Elm Street, and it was an amazing school. There were some good times and there were some bad times. But here's my story, and some of you may relate, some of you may not. When I was in Elm Street, people would sometimes tell me that I come off as brave or fearless, and to me that's false, because sometimes I have trouble to focus in school because of the things going on at home. And I used to get bullied by it. It's not so bad now, but this is probably the best year I've had since I joined kindergarten. And here goes. When I was 5 years old, I found out that my mom and dad had got divorced. And we all went with my mother, considering she was the most suitable parent. And we all had very bad issues with our family, and it was very hard finding out at such a young age that the reason my mom and dad split up was because my dad was using the rest of the money that we had on drugs. And I moved to a new school. Things were mostly good. The kids were nice, and I had my best friend. She always stuck by my side, and most of the time she was the reason I still tried. Cut to grade 6. I grew up with 3 brothers, and the oldest brother to me was probably a big role model. And for that, I would try to be like him. Because of this, I would receive text messages saying that, what do I even call you? It, she, or he. I was called transgender, and it really hurt. And I wondered why people would say these awful things. At the time, my brother, he was 12 years old, and he was dealing with much, much bigger problems. He wasn't going to school, he was fighting with my mom, and he was smashing things when he got mad. Soon later, he was diagnosed with depression. And it was very hard for all of us, considering he was always in the hospital, and whenever he didn't go to school, and whenever it would hurt my mom, it would hurt me. And everything would pile up on her, and I would feel bad. So, the cops were always at my house because of my brother. And I would sit in my closet and cry as I read the text in my head. Are you going to be a failure too, like your brother? Or does it suck having a middle school dropout as a brother? The days I went to school, I would walk home afterwards with my head turning every minute because I was scared I'd have to face these awful people. And one day I did. As I was walking home, I soon noticed a group of girls running towards me. I bowed my head and I tried to block out what they were saying, but the bigger girl pushed me to the ground. She yelled in my face, "Listen to me when I'm talking to you." And she continued saying that I was worthless and I would never be like them. And I thought, who would want to be like you? As I came home, I was greeted by my mom, who was always asking how my day was, even though I was called names and beaten on. My reply was the same each time. It was good. And she asked me what happened to my elbow. And I would just say, I tripped. And it was the same each time. As far as the messages, I tried to avoid them by shutting off my phone, but they just kept piling up. And now it's grade 8. Bullying has stopped. Family problems have gotten worse. But I always have my best friend. She's the one I talk to. And if you're going through something, don't hide out in the dark. Make sure you tell someone. These people who you make fun of are just people who are probably experiencing something similar as you. Because bullies have problems, it's mainly why they bully you. What I did to help this was I joined a sport that helps me take out my anger. I know you all won't take my advice, but just think to yourself when you pass someone in the halls and shoot them a dirty look. Do you really know their story? Because you don't. Even if they have lots of money, doesn't mean they don't have problems. And this is what I'm trying to stress to you guys. If you have no idea what someone is dealing with outside of school, then just back off. Why would you want to hurt someone physically or mentally? Through the year, I had some fights and arguments, but I realize now it was just foolishness, and I now try hard to improve my marks in school, or I try to help others when they have no one to talk to. Now, I don't have this written down, but I thought I should say it. Grade 7, just like all of you in here, it was hard. Moving to a new school, it with bigger kids. What I did was I went to EC, Youth Engagement Center, and I met some wonderful people, and they helped me through a lot of things. And now I'm a writer, and I learned to channel my emotions into my writing. And an amazing person who helped me with that was Jason Gallant. And I just want to thank him for everything he's doing, and he's probably a very, very good person to me. Jason?
At the end of the video, we used the word shadow. We used the word shadow because shadows are in the darkness, but they also can come out in light. We want to work together and help the people who are bullying and getting bullied be that smile in the hallway, be that hand that helps another person up, that voice that uplifts and encourages others. Talk to someone and know that you are not alone and there is help for what you're going through.
So hopefully you can take out some good messages from today, and if when this performance was going on, you could relate to your situation. We hope that you go and talk to somebody that you trust or somebody that's there for you, and you find your shadow to bring you out of the darkness into the light. So thanks.
And I just wanted to add, big thank you to the Youth Engagement Center, to Jason Gallant and his team, and all these very brave youth up here, especially Declan and Paige, who shared their stories. So I hope you will rethink if you're going to, if you're thinking about being mean to somebody.